Hello again, beautiful souls. It's me, Amanda, with Anam Cara messages from the Soul Friend. I finally learned how to upload videos, so that's making it a little bit easier for me than, dealing with the overwhelming fear that the live videos were causing for me. I can't say I'm comfortable with this yet because I'm not. This is probably one of the most challenging things I've ever faced when it comes to actually facing my fears, and I believe that it is also part of the teachings that Spirit is, trying to bring through me. I'm just a vessel for these messages, and what I'm beginning to comprehend is the importance of my own vulnerability and struggles with, fear of judgment, etc. The importance of it being witnessed, because it is to help you overcome your own fear of judgment. Because really and truly, when you come to know yourself and understand yourself, you begin to realize that that expression, the only thing to fear is fear itself. There really is something to that, because it's the fear frequencies that weigh heavy. It's the fear frequencies that make us tighten up. It's the fear frequencies that, cause us to literally stem the flow of our own guidance, our own innate wisdom. What flows through me in these videos is available to each and every one of you. Everybody on the planet has their own divine connection to source energy. They have their own internal sat-nav system. And when you learn to trust it and follow its guidance, life just gets better and better, because you're making choices from a more conscious position. You can feel, when you're faced with a decision, which is the right path for me. It is always the one that feels better. And I'm beginning to understand as well that, doubt, hesitation, that's because our soul's guidance, our own inner connection, whatever term you're comfortable with, the labels really don't matter. This is all about energy, and we are all part of this mix of energy that's always in motion, flowing around us, sometimes through us. And as we become more aware of the frequencies and energies around us, it becomes easier to discern the right direction to go. But it does take a willingness to rip off the armor, because all the wounds of the past, and we all have them to some degree or another. Even people who, think they have, a very happy life, you can still see sometimes they're holding on tight. And when you get talking with them and they're like, well, I didn't have any major trauma in my life growing up. But you see, sometimes just being present and witnessing somebody else experiencing their own traumatic event can actually have an impact on us, especially when we're children. And if there was nobody, no elder or wise one, to then talk to them and explain to them, the process of transmuting your emotions, transmuting, freeing yourself for any heavier vibrations and frequencies that you encounter throughout your day. So, when I'm talking about heavier and denser frequencies, I don't like to use the term good or bad, and even the positive and negative, nowadays they seem to be carrying different connotations as if it's good or bad. There is no good or bad, but it's about, there's a denser heaviness in some of the frequencies. And again, that weighs us down. We are meant to be light beings. Our natural essence is that of, flow and lightness and, just that beautiful sense of, I don't even have the words to explain this, but it feels good. This is our natural disposition. This is our innate wisdom. Is just that awareness that we are always being taken care of. As long as we remain open, we can receive guidance with such clarity that it can appear absolutely magical at times. But sadly, most of us are so focused on the problems and old traumas and wounds and fear of being wounded again that we're holding ourselves so tightly, and we're being weighed down by some of the heavier, denser, or more negative frequencies. And again, I'm not even sure if the positive is the heavy ones or the lighter ones. Like, this is not my area of expertise. I don't have the educational background to have the right terminology for translating these messages that are trying to come through. But I'm trusting that you will feel the resonance. You will feel the truth of what I am trying to convey. Which is now reminding me that, it's important that I ask people that do tune in to listen, are you listening to hear and receive? Or are you listening to judge and find fault? Either way, it's okay. But again, this is about bringing your own awareness to what frequency are you sitting in. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. In fact, I endeavor that in my interactions with people, I actually make a point of not telling them what to do. Sometimes people call me and, tell me what to do. And it's like, I won't do that. The only thing I will ever tell you to do is go within. Everything you seek lies within. All of your answers are within. What I do would be to tell people to just breathe. See what they're feeling in their body. Is it weighing heavy? Is it something that, because again, my understanding of things, my awareness is bringing my consciousness to the fact that things that weigh heavy, anything that causes a sinking sensation in my body, that is my soul's guidance, warning me, there's a better way. Don't put all your focus there. You're free to choose that option, but you won't be free of the consequences of that choice. And I'm learning. And again, because like everybody else, I'm just figuring this stuff out day by day, sometimes moment by moment. And, I'm learning to let go of the self-criticism. I'm learning to let go of my own self-judgment, because, I'm beginning to understand that when I feel other people judging me, it only really affects me because inside, deep down, I'm also judging me. I'm looking through that lens of judgment. Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? Do you know how ridiculous you sound? And yeah, to some people, I really do know how ridiculous and crazy I sound, because I still consider myself a skeptic despite what I find myself doing right here, right now. as a young child, the story of the Emperor's New Clothes, it really resonated with me. And I've never been able to shake that. So when I come across things and people are going, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and so and so says this, so and so says that, there's a part of me that just cocks an eyebrow and goes, "Oh, really?" um, but I'm very aware of how judgmental I am. But I'm also open to having, you know, my mind broadened. So it's like, okay, I'm curious. Tell me more. Show me more. And if then in that process something begins to resonate with me, you know, take holistic therapies, for example. I remember one time, I was just being called. Somebody had gifted me angel cards, and I eventually, through a series of synchronistic events, ended up going to a Reiki workshop to train in Reiki. And I'll never forget my Reiki master saying to me, "She will never forget me," because not only was I there with the arms folded and the legs crossed, I actually tried to hook my foot around my ankle as well. So I nearly had my legs doubly crossed. That's how resistant, like, that's how, yeah, right, you know, let's see what crap you're going to come out with here. Like, that's how skeptical and judgmental and resistant I was to all of this. But yet, something deep inside was calling me, was just pushing me. And, I began to notice the synchronistic events, that eventually it's like, well, okay, I'm going to go check this out. And like, wow, that opened up, just a world of wonder for me. And, obviously I'm still struggling with self-doubt and understanding, you know, who I am. Um, though I think I'm starting to get to grips with who I am. And I'm actually, yeah, I am. I'm learning to love who I am. Um, and I'm so proud of the woman that I have become, despite everything I have experienced in life. I have freed myself um, from the chains of victimhood, of trauma, and it's just the sense of liberty and freedom is just incredible. And yes, as you can see, I can get emotionally overwhelmed at times, but I'm learning to just allow it, feel it. Previously I'd be like, "No, oh, I'm not getting emotional. No way. I don't feel. I'm the ice queen." And I was so proud of that fact. But it was in that, rigidity and that refusal to feel, trying to protect myself because all I've ever really known is pain and trauma. But I missed out. There were moments of love, there were moments of kindness, there were wonderful moments in my existence. But because I was so busy trying to shut out and armor myself against the icky feeling stuff, I also shut out the good feeling stuff. And I'm now in the process of learning to just let it hit, just face it, feel it, allow it to flow through me, because do you know what, it does flow out fairly quickly. And I won't lie, sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes, you sob, there's snots and tears, like, but again, I'm learning, if I just allow it, if I surrender to it and acknowledge how I've been feeling, because it doesn't matter what other people's opinion about how I'm feeling is. What matters is I'm feeling it. Those feelings need to be acknowledged. It doesn't matter how people view my situation. All that matters is, how am I feeling? Am I acknowledging how I feel? And, it's taken me 47 years, but I'm finally starting to tune into that and allow myself to feel. And, my life is just starting to blossom as a result. I'm gaining so much more clarity, and I know some people think I'm nuts, but that's okay. Because you know what? They're not living my life. I am. Um, all that matters to me is my life is suddenly becoming so much easier. And don't get me wrong, I still face challenges. We all do. That's the duality of life. There's always going to be something that comes along that can, shake your vibration up a little bit. Something that kind of hits into you, bumps off you. Um, and again, why am I talking about bumping off? See, a long time ago, I was shown an image that, you know, we're all in these little bubbles, I suppose. And again, I'm becoming to understand now that that's our own energetic field, our own auras. And we have this much space. Literally, that is ours. And again, think about it. This is your personal space. This is, when you're out in public and somebody gets up close and personal that you've never met before, and again, invading your personal space. It's like there's just, we all have this energetic field around us. And I didn't understand it too much at the time, though I had a vague understanding of it. And again, the interconnectedness of everything and how each of us has this little sphere of our own energy around us. But we're all in the flow of all of these beautiful energies and frequencies. And again, I really wish I had a better vocabulary in order to articulate these things that I see and that I'm being shown. But again, things, when we're in the flow, when we go with the flow of this universal current, things go well for us. But again, we all have free will. And sometimes, we get distracted from our own path, which is, where our attention is supposed to be on, creating our own realities, just moving our way through these frequencies, through these energies, learning our lessons, coming to a deeper understanding of ourselves, learning to process our emotions and understand. Because again, our emotions, this is all part of our navigational system of, steering our way through our lives. And I'm sorry, something's coming in now. Like, I think this is tied into this whole Merkaba, your own Merkaba. Because again, when this really started and I'd Archimedes of Syracuse coming through, showing me all these weird shapes and symbols that I later discovered were sacred geometry and the Archimedean solids and that. And the Merkaba energy really kept coming to me so strongly. And something's just telling me now that these little bubbles that I saw us all in, and again, just with little dots of light in the middle of them, but somehow I just knew that each little dot of light in each bubble was each and every one of us. And again, we're all connected. Almost like is it the flower of life? You have all these circles and they're all connected, and there's a little bit of, in each connection, there's that little burst of light. I'm going off on another tangent. It's what I do. So yeah, now I'm kind of getting that sense that the Merkaba is our own little kind of like a spaceship, so to speak. Oh God. I find this so much easier when I can actually see who I'm speaking to, and I can see if you're following me or if I'm losing you, and I need to try and deliver this in a better way. But all I can do is just roll with whatever I'm being shown and try to describe it as best I can. While also being aware that I'm coming across like a crazy lady, which I actually know I'm not. Because although I might have the right words to describe all of this, I feel the truth of it. I can feel it, like it literally, truth resonates. You can feel it in your body. There is a specific sensation where you just know without a shadow of a doubt. You just know. There's no doubt, there's no hesitation. And for me, any doubt I start to experience, it actually just stems from the frequency of fear, my fear of judgment, my fear of not being accepted. And I've come to understand I don't need anybody else's approval or acceptance because I'm learning to approve and accept myself. And I actually really like who I am. So although it's challenging and although you can feel, and again, it's back to this little bubble thing. Sometimes when people direct their focus on you, it's like those little bubbles start crashing into each other with a little bit more force. When we're cruising along and, you're just offering good vibrations out there and wishing people well, it's an offering. It's just gently putting stuff out into the stream and the flow of life. And those good feeling, positive, uplifting frequencies are there for whoever chooses to receive them. However, when we start focusing our attention specifically on another or a situation, sometimes then that concentrates the flow, which then it has a stronger impact, which is why sometimes when if somebody is particularly angry and they direct their attention right at you, sometimes it can literally feel like a physical assault. You literally feel yourself, jolt back because, again, their energy and their frequency becomes so focused, it actually hits like a dart, like a spear. Where's this even going? And again, I've no idea where this is going. Something I've come to understand as well is Spirit never gives me advance instruction. I'm just guided to do and say things. And do you know what? They've never steered me wrong. But I still really, really struggle with it because, why am I here? What am I doing? But again, I think it's part of the healing process. It's to help you to become aware that you don't always need to know where you're going, but you just need to have faith in yourself, have faith in source, in the universe, in the God energy, in the creator energy. It's about, having faith and trusting in the universe that all your needs will always be met. Because, they always are. Don't get me wrong, I have days I'm sitting here and I'm like, come on, cut me some slack here. Sometimes they can cut it so fine, before help arrives or, whatever you needed manifests. And I'm constantly arguing with them. It's like, come on, please just make it a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, the truth is, because I start getting tangled up and distracted by whatever issue is in my orbit at the moment, and I start to kind of worry, I get distracted in the right here, right now, and it's like, oh, there's not enough money in the bank, or whatever the situation may be. But because I'm then focusing on that instead of focusing back within on my own connection and that beautiful, beautiful connection with source energy. And again, I'm just getting that burst of light again. And again, it's just so beautiful. And like, the more I'm learning to tune into it, the more I just have this beautiful, beautiful feeling flowing through my body. And I've been having some miraculous healing and like really incredible improvements in my health over the last year and a bit. And it's just, I really am coming to the understanding. It's because I'm allowing this beautiful frequency, this love vibration to flow through me. Because when we're in this frequency, when we're like not just flowing in it, but allowing it to flow through us as well, the heavier frequencies of illness and dis-ease, they can't actually exist within the higher vibrational frequencies. And again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to explain this properly, but all I can do is do my best to deliver this to you at my level of understanding and articulation. But it's just wow, opening up to this is just, it's been the best thing that has ever happened to me. While at the same time, it's also one of the most challenging, which is saying a lot considering everything I've faced in life so far. But I honestly think this is the most vulnerable I've ever really felt consciously, because again, I have spent most of my life so armored up and walled in, trying to protect myself from all the toxic stuff that I'd gotten lost in. And again, there were no elders to guide me, to show me, to teach me how to free myself from traumatic events. And I've been, I suffered something shocking with depression and anxiety as a result of a lot of the things I've experienced. And, I'm being on a low budget as well, couldn't afford the help that I needed. And here I am, getting very emotional. And I think that's part of my willingness to be here for others. Because, sometimes those that need help most are those that actually can't afford to avail of the help that is out there. And I was one of those people. There was one time in particular, I was very suicidal. And I remember ringing, looking to see if I could get an appointment. I'd already been through REIN services. They deal with victims of child sexual abuse and that. And, you're allocated 6 sessions and it's wonderful. And the lovely therapist I had actually, got permission to give me extra sessions. I think I had 13 at that time. And I felt a bit stronger and I'd gone off. But then, boom, I got hit with more flashbacks and, I was just, it really tipped me to the brink. I just didn't want to be here. And I remember ringing, hoping to get an appointment. But again, the system is, you have to go on this waiting list. And there was a 2-year wait at that time. And I'll never forget the lovely secretary, Patricia. And she spoke to me that day. She actually held space for me. She acknowledged me. And, she listened to me. And I'll be forever grateful to that lady for that. But I don't know where I'm going because I've got lost in my own emotion again. But yeah, it's sometimes people go, why are you doing this? Looking for attention. The last thing I want is attention. Being recognized is actually part of my worst nightmare. I've spent my life just wanting to fade into the background, be invisible. But I understand that my experience can actually help other people. And that is why, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing it to get likes. I'm not doing it for subscribers. I'm doing it because I'm aware there are so many other people like me out there who are struggling with life, who haven't, had the guidance of you know, how to figure out how to get to know yourself, how to go within, how to tune in to your own connection, that beautiful connection that is available to every single one of us. And if I can even help one person, well, then it's worth this discomfort, this. And again, it's this vulnerability. I struggle with being seen as vulnerable because I fought so hard all my life not to be vulnerable, to be stronger, you know, and not to let things bother me. But do you know what? This actually isn't bothering me. This is actually healing for me as well. Which is why, you know, I'm regularly speaking to people. It's like, don't be ashamed to cry. Don't be afraid to cry. Crying is just such a beautiful gift. Crying frees us. Crying is liberating. Crying happens when our bodies, when we become so overwhelmed with emotion, when there's so much flowing through us, it needs another avenue of release. And again, the tears, the water energy, it flows. So again, and water always finds a way. It comes out, you know, and it helps just release that energy. And the same applies when we get overwhelmed by the good stuff. You know, like we've all experienced that at some point as well, that overwhelming sense of joy and love that sometimes it's nearly too much and we get very emotional. But again, most of us have been kind of conditioned to think that there's something wrong with this, and it's like we hide. The automatic thing is like, oh no, cover the face. We don't want to be seen. And it's like, we have to stop that. We have to stop perpetuating that energy. You know, it's time to own your tears. Never be ashamed of your tears, because tears are one of the greatest gifts that mankind has been given. Tears help with the overflow. And again, here I am going off on tangents. I have no idea where I'm going with this. And I've been drawn to a couple of cards. Because when I was listening to Reem's collaboration with Rob yesterday on Miss Reemy Healings, and they were talking about, you know, anger within the community, you know, and how there's this, you know, impression that, you know, walking the spiritual path is all, you know, love and light.